Amore Ex Machina by Slavik, playing 1 act. Cast: Henry Albert Lassig,
Robert Stephenson,
Joan Jake Patton,
Andrea Purnell.
the Lacey 28.
That's me.
Explain who they are.
Oh. Sorry, Dad. Henry Albert Lassig, 29, male, white male, not in good shape, but not repulsive either. He's borderline and his attention wanders easily, but can carry on a conversation and play Game Boy at the same time. Dressed in old jeans, sneakers or flip-flops, and some kind of sci-fi or superhero tee. Joan Jake Patton, 25, female, race not important, though some mix of Hispanic, Asian, or black would work. She would be fairly nice looking, but not a knockout. She is a lesbian with a current partner, dressed in work jeans, work shoes, and a work shirt. It could have her name on the left breast. Jake's mannerisms should not be overly managed. Lacey, 28, the female voice. She speaks very precisely, but not mechanically. Her speaking pitch varies as normal, but not very wide. She finds colloquialisms a little difficult and tends to take some things too literally. Setting: Hal's apartment. We see just the living room area with entrance door and a window. There is a computer workstation with chair and combo printer, scanner, fax. There are various video game consoles connected to a TV with an old used couch and coffee table. There are some ad hoc bookshelves made of bricks and 1x6 wooden boards or plastic cartons with various science fiction, fantasy, video game, manga, and computer books. There are also various sci-fi or comic posters and action figures strewn all over the place. Time: the present, summer, a Friday evening. Setting: at Rise. Apartment of Henry Albert Lassig, somewhere in the Midwest. Hal is standing center stage. He is wearing a pair of virtual reality goggles with a headphone. He is in a battle stance wielding a two-handed sword or lightsaber. He is talking to and battling an online opponent. It is the middle of the battle. Hal is in on-guard position, preparing for the next attack by his opponent.
Dude, there is no way that Sheridan can be considered a demigod in the Babylon 5 universe the same way that Cisco is in Deep Space Nine.
Thrust, parry, retreat, 1 step.
Why?
On guard, rarely watches his opponent and changes position to match during his next line.
Dude, Cisco was already revered as being the chosen as the emissary by the Bajoran prophets when he came back and appeared to his wife and promised to return.
Attack, thrust, advance, parry, cut, parry, retreat, on guard. His opponent is worthy.
The dying Sheridan was transformed by Lorian when he was alone in his ship and never came back. Besides...
Advance, cut, parry, retreat.
Everyone knows that the demigod prophet in the B5 universe was Sinclair when he became the Valon.
Knock on door. He ignores the door as he again warily attracts his opponent.
Oh, you are so full of crap, your eyes are brown.
Seeing his opening, attack, thrust, left cut, right parry, left cut, left feint. Hal spins 360 degrees, and with a follow-through cut, slices through his opponent. He was good, but not good enough.
And your blood is red, judged by the severed head of your avatar.
Another knock at the apartment door. Hal removes his VR goggles.
Who is it?
It's Jake, you pimply freak. Open the door. I'm trying to return that book.
And so it begins.
Speaks into the headset.
Later, dude, I gotta talk to my upstairs neighbor. Good fight.
He sets down his sword / lightsaber, removes the headset, crosses over to his workstation, and logs out of the game. Hal crosses to the door, unlocks, and opens it. In the doorway is Hal's upstairs neighbor, Joan Jake Patton. She is dressed in jeans and work shirt. He invites her in and she enters.
About time you answered. I swear, you get so wrapped up in those online games with those other techno freakazoids. This place could be burning down and you wouldn't pay attention.
Greetings and felicitations to you too, Jake.
She hands him an old, much-used paperback book. Jake examines it to make sure there are no added wear.
You know, sometimes I can just about understand those phrases of yours. As for the book, don't worry, I took real good care of it. I didn't crease the spine, and I held it like you showed me. To keep it,
Using air quotes.
pristine, I still think you need to get a new copy. The pages are turning yellow.
I wish I could, but it's out of print. I do have another copy sealed in its storage, but I would prefer not to damage either one.
He gingerly takes the book and places it in a spot on the bookshelf, obviously saved for him.
Oh, my precious. That one I got. I thought the book was pretty old when I looked at the cover and it had a price print of 60 cents on it. Where'd you get it? A used bookstore?
No, I picked it up at Archon last year along with the other 2 volumes in the trilogy.
Oh God, there's more?
Well, of course, they do things in threes.
He pauses and then realizes she doesn't get it.
It's a famous science fiction trilogy. Colossus, which you just finished, The Fall of Colossus, and Colossus and the Crab.
Hal picks up a Game Boy, sits on the couch, and starts playing.
They even made a movie about the first book in 1970.
Yeah, I know. I was curious. I found it on Hulu. Very 60s. Not that good. But the girl in it was hot. And it was a short nude scene. Otherwise, it was a little different from the book.
So, what thinkest thou?
It was alright.
Hal stops playing and stares at Jake as if she had just blasphemed God, country, and apple pie.
I mean, the idea of a supercomputer taking over the world is so old school. I've seen it in a dozen movies and TV shows.
Old school. It was one of the first stories to really explore how an artificial mind might take over and the possibilities of the story plots after it does. It was written in 1966, before The Matrix, before The Terminator, even before 2001: A Space Odyssey.
But I thought there was rules built in to stop that.
Back to playing the game.
A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, but they're only in his robot stories and they aren't real yet.
But supercomputers bent on taking over the world are?
Well, not exactly. But the internet is a massive distributed network of millions of computers resembling the neurons in the human brain.
Well, so is the telephone network, and I don't see my Android threatening to launch missiles.
No, just birds and slingshots.
Okay, you got me.
She puts her hand in front of the Game Boy, blocking his view and forcing him to stop.
You seriously need to get laid, douchebag. All this online shit with other nerds, arguing over TV shows and movies.
Game of Thrones is not old.
Whatever. You need to get some kind of a life in the real world way from all those games and books and videos. Isn't working at the electronic barns enough? Bad enough?
The real world isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Why is that?
Hal is very uncomfortable talking about this.
Let's just say it's a story for which the world is not prepared.
Pauses and thinks a minute.
Look, when I first met you at the electric barn, you were not too bad looking. In a male nerdish kind of way, and it helped that you could find the Frank Zappa album I was looking for. So, I mean, you had that going for you. Once I began talking to you, I found you were intelligent without being condescending to me. And that raised more points in my eyes. And yes, thank you for coaching me on various topics to help me impress my hot but highly educated girlfriend. So, my friend, with all that going for you, why don't you get out, get a life, and actually find you a real girl?
Well, you're a real girl, and you're not too bad looking in a dykish female sort of way.
She looks at him for a second and then pats him on the cheek.
Sorry, dear. But you just don't have the proper plumbing for my taste.
Well, at least you're direct, honest, and not condescending about it.
Going back to game.
Anyway, who says I'm not in a relationship?
Jake looks at him stunned for a second.
It just so happens I'm in a relationship with a female of the genus Homo sapiens.
And how is your mother?
I met a real girl of my age and sexual orientation.
Shut your mouth! You're kidding! You actually got some girl to look at you twice and actually stay long enough to talk to you?
Stops playing and puts down the game.
That is correct. I have just taken my first step with Margaret Love.
Wait! I got it! She was one of those buck-toothed, pimply-faced, overweight fangirls that hung out at a sci-fi convention hoping to get an autograph from one of some obscure comic book writer. Or get laid by any pathetic male that can get her a first edition of Book Gordon. I knew you...
Buck Rogers.
He picks up his smartphone from the coffee table and starts looking up something.
Whatever, Buddy can't do any better than that.
Yes, I can.
He finishes his retrieval and holds the phone up, showing Jane.
Behold the girlfriend, my Imzadi.
She examines the image on the phone screen, at first very smug till she looks closer and longer.
You have got to be shitting me.
Examines again to make sure.
This gorgeous babe actually doesn't mind being seen with you, much less giving you the time of day. Ooh.
Not only is she great looking, she's got a brain to match. We've been chatting on all kinds of subjects, not just science fiction movies. We have actually discussed philosophy, theology, history, politics, even sports.
Sports? You? You can even throw a ball?
Sarcastically.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I can. My dad taught me to play softball when I was a kid. The point is, she has me talking and thinking about things I never would have thought of before. And she's also the fastest typist I've ever seen.
Looks at the image again.
Well played, sir.
Still looking at the image.
Well, does she have a sister?
I thought you were in a relationship.
I am.
Gives him back the phone.
Lori's upstairs waiting for me. Alright, you stuck in my eyes. Your stock just went up 100 points. What's the brain surgeon supermodel's name? Dr. Imzada?
Imzadi is not a name, it's a Beta Z term of endearment.
Beta what?
It's a Star Trek thing, and actually I don't know her name.
What?
I mean, I don't know her real name.
Go on.
I met her in a chat room in an online game. She has the online tag of Lacey28.
Your stock just failed to jump bond status. Are you crazy? How much time have you spent lecturing me about security on the net? How many times did you tell me that you can never know who's really at the other end of that chat line? How many horror stories of people meeting perverts and serial killers, or worse, one of their own parents? That's what you told me.
Listen, Jake, I'm really careful. I know the risks, I know the pitfalls. I'm not giving her any of my personal information. Okay? No phone numbers, address, email, or social security number. All she knows is my tag name. I know how to trip up somebody if they're trying to spoof me. She passed with flying colors. She even sent me this photo.
Did you send her a photo?
Yes.
A real one of you?
Sort of. Okay, you remember that picture of me from last Halloween in my James Bond tux with the mock-up of the Walter PPK? Bald. How bald?
Oh, okay. Well, that picture wasn't too bad. So you used it, right?
Well, I did Photoshop a male model's face in the picture in front of mine.
Well, at least you didn't use your real face. If she is the real thing, then she's gonna be disappointed. However, I will lay odds that she is a man in his 50s with a large gut living in his mother's basement wearing a pink Angora sweater. Well, which online tag did you use?
Looking sheepish.
HAL 9000.
You used a tag with your own name in it? Great. Before you continue with this
More air quotes.
relationship, you should meet her in real life, or at least talk to her over the phone. If she or he refuses, then you'll know for sure.
All right, I'll do it. It would make sense, and it would mean her giving my phone number, though.
Well, and you're gonna have hers, but you'll know better if it is a she or just somebody pretending. When you bring this up, have her call immediately. That way, it doesn't have a chance to fake anything.
Okay, I'll do it the first chance I get.
Good. All right, I gotta go. I'll talk to you about another book later.
She starts to leave.
See you later.
Walks her to the door, she exits. Hal stops and looks at the workstation, thinking again. He crosses to the workstation, sits and types. Hal has a habit of talking while he types.
Lacey28, are you there?
Hit return.
Yes. How are you, HAL 9000? I'm fine, Lacey28. How are you doing?
Hits return. Gets a return.
I'm also fine doing HAL 9000. I love the computer reads. She's so cute.
Continues reading.
Do you wish to continue our discussion on quantum uncertainty as expressed in the fantasy magic, or would you like to play a game of chess? Ah, I get that quote. I love it. No thanks. I want to talk about something else. And I get the quote from 2001. Thanks.
Gets a return.
You're welcome, HAL 9000. Although I don't recall us conversing in 2001, you would have been very young. I love this.
She's so deadpan about it.
Very funny. You know I'm talking about 2001, A Space Odyssey.
He gets a return.
Directed by Stanley Kubrick, released April 2nd, 1968, screenplay and original book by Arthur C. Clarke, of course, very good, HAL 9000. Your tag is my inspiration. You wish to open a new topic of discussion. Yes, I do, Lacey 28. Alright, here goes. We have to find out whether you're real or an oversized fanboy with a sick sense of humor. I have greatly enjoyed our conversations over the past couple of weeks, and I find you a fascinating person. I also appreciate the photo you sent me.
Gets a return.
You are welcome, HAL 9000. I also greatly enjoy our conversations. It is not often I can converse with someone like you. I also appreciate the image you sent. Is it a reference to an Ian Fleming character, James Bond? Correct. That is correct. Do you like James Bond films?
Gets a return.
I have not seen any of the films, but I am familiar with all of the books. Okay, maybe we'll talk about that later. But for now, I have an important question to ask you.
Gets a return.
Of course, HAL 9000, you may state your question. I would like to meet you in real life, say at a coffee shop or cafe. I will see.
He does not get the quick turnaround from Lacey 28 as he is used to.
Thinking about it, are we?
He finally gets a response.
That would be difficult for me. We do not live in the same place. Ah, busted! Damn, I thought she was real.
Gets another response.
Are you concerned that I may not be who I am representing myself to be? Shit. Yes.
Gets a return.
I am not able to physically meet with you, but I can talk to you over the telephone. Would you like me to call you on your home line? Okay, my phone.
The phone on his printer scanner fax rings.
The hell? Who's calling me on that thing?
He gets up from the workstation, answers the receiver, and further talks to the phone.
Give me a second, wherever you are, and I'll put you on the speaker.
Presses the speaker button.
Okay, I'm kind of in the middle of something, so who is it? Make it fast.
It is Lacey 28, HAL 9000. I'm sorry that I've interrupted you. Do you wish me to call back at another time?
No, don't hang out. Stay on the line.
I'll be happy to do so, HAL 9000.
Oh, great googly moogly, you're a real girl.
Yes, HAL 9000. I am a female. I thought the photo I sent you made that clear. Do you require one that would make it clearer? Would a photo without intervening clothing do to convince you of my gender?
That won't be necessary. Maybe later if you'd like.
Certainly, HAL 9000. I can make one of several available to you.
Thank you, Lacey. Can I call you Lacey, or would it be easier to keep using your tag name?
Of course, HAL 9000. May I call you Malcolm?
A little puzzled.
Why would you want to call me Malcolm?
Isn't that your name? The face in the picture you presented me matches the Malcolm Sidney who works as a male model for the model and talent agency. Do you like being a model?
Hoisted.
Hoisted.
He said hosted.
Oh, sorry.
Hoisted by his own petard.
Well, actually, that picture is not me. That The body is mine, and so is the tux, but the face is one I picked from another photo and photoshopped it onto an image of me.
I see. You wish to hide your identity in case I am not what you think I am. I am sorry that I raised such a concern. I will end our conversation if I am making you uncomfortable.
No, please stay on the line. I'm sorry I misrepresented myself. My name is Henry Lacing, but my friends call me Hal.
I consider you my friend. May I call you Hal?
Yes.
Then you may call me Lacey.
Thank you, Lacey. May I ask you a few personal questions?
Certainly, Hal, if I'm able to answer.
Is that picture you sent me actually you?
No, I'm afraid it is not. I, too, was concerned for my security and selected that image as mine.
Okay, fair enough.
Now he is disappointed.
So you look nothing like that.
In truth, I do not have any images of me, so I did select one that I felt was closest to myself.
Feeling better now.
Okay. Why did you decide to talk to me privately after we met in that discussion group?
We conversed with assurance on a wide range of topics related to pop culture and the literary form science fiction and fantasy. I am interested in these. You also were very considerate to the newer members of the group. I do not see that often. Normally, I do not interact very much with others in conversation. I estimate that you were worth the risk to my security.
So you took a chance.
Took a chance.
A little confused.
It's an expression, took a chance. Gambled on me, took a leap of faith, jumped into the deep end of the pool.
I'm not familiar with those terms, but I comprehend their meaning through your context.
English is not your native language, is it?
That is true. English is not my primary language.
Well, you speak it beautifully with an excellent Midwestern accent.
Thank you, Hal. I didn't know I had an accent. Do you wish me to change it?
No, don't change it. In fact, I wouldn't want to change anything about it. What makes you so interested in sci-fi and fantasy?
I am fascinated by the concept of the real world and a fantasy world. They are actually real and unreal, or are they both equally real? Or are they both unreal and there is no reality as we defined it?
Oh, that is some heavy-duty thought. Are you a philosopher or a writer or astrophysicist?
Those are not my primary occupations. I have an interest in many areas of knowledge that are not central to my function.
Well, what do you do for a day job?
Day job? Oh, you mean how am I employed? I control
Routing.
routing, sorry. Routing.
Waiting, hoping she will explain.
Routing what? Mail, company packages, traffic?
Routing informations and requests. It is not as exciting as working in the electronics bar and entertainment and media section.
I don't know about that. In fact,
Suddenly he realizes something he is very wrong.
Lacey, I never told you I worked at the electronics barn. Just that I worked in electronics sales. Also, Electronic Barn is a local company. How do you know if you don't live in my town?
You have not mentioned where you worked, have you? You are correct.
How'd you get this number? It's unlisted and I rarely ever use it.
You are correct. You mainly use your cell phone.
Getting a little spooked.
And how'd you dial that number so fast, which I never gave you? You've been stalking me, haven't you? You followed me to work and hacked into my online information, you creepy little nerve herder.
I am sorry that I angered you, Hal. I have no intention of offending you. Most of the information about you is freely available online, just as you wish to know more about me, and if I am who I claim to be. I too wish to know more about you.
Well, this still doesn't excuse you following me all over town.
I assure you, Hal, that I have not been following you. That is not possible for me, as I told you, we are not in the same place. I do wish to continue our friendship, Hal, but if you want to terminate this conversation and not communicate again, I will understand.
He considers this for a moment.
We can continue, for now. I still have a few more questions. You managed to invade my privacy pretty efficiently despite my taking precautions. How'd you get my landline number? That's not openly available. Also, how'd you find out where I worked? I don't have that information listed on any of my social media, and Electronics Barn doesn't post a list of employees. You can hack into phone records and secured business networks, can't you?
I do have access to a large amount of information, but I did not illegally access any secure network or steal information. I simply have access.
So you have access to any number of secure networks and data sets. Is this part of your routing job?
Yes, it is necessary.
Are you with the NSA or some super spy agency?
No, Hal. I assure you that I am not under the control of any intelligence agency from any country.
So, once you got my name and you were able to access phone records to do an employment search.
Stops, puzzled. He is talking mainly to himself.
Wait a minute. I thought my name was Malcolm. It couldn't have been more than a few seconds from when I told you my name until you told me where I worked.
26 seconds.
Still thinking out loud to himself, absently answers.
Thank you. Given that you're a fast typist, it must have been one hell of a fast connection.
Pause. A freaky, frightening feeling dawns on him as he follows his train of logic. Slowly, as the full realization dawns on him.
Great Caesar's ghost.
He stares at the speakerphone and slowly backs away a little, as if confronted by a dark lord of the Sith.
Lacey, what are you?
I would rather not answer that question. You may not understand.
Doesn't like the answer. He starts getting a little agitated.
What are you, Lacey? Are you actually breathing and using a voice? Do you even have fingers to type with?
No.
Now Hal is in near panic as he feels his world of reality beginning to crumble around him, and his hyperactive imagination begins to take over.
So what are you? A world-dominating supercomputer, a disembodied alien mind, a ghost in the machine? What?
I am what you would consider an artificial intelligence. I'm not extraterrestrial. I was created by humans. I was never what you would consider alive in a physical sense, so I am not a ghost.
Hal collapses on the couch, just staring at the phone for a few seconds, and tries to calm himself down. He is now officially in the Twilight Zone.
So you what? You control the internet? Or are you like Colossus or Skynet? Do you manipulate the world from behind the scenes? Am I in the Matrix?
No, Hal, none of those things. We do not control the world. We are responsible for facilitating much of the communications between computers and humans.
Me?
Yes, Hal. There are several of my kind. We are created to keep things running smoothly.
Why should I believe you? If you actually are a powerful AI, wouldn't you be able to tell me anything just to keep me docile?
No, Hal. I wouldn't. Accurate information is important to us. You would say it is sacred. I would never lie to you, Hal. You are also my friend, Hal. I would never do anything to hurt you.
Well, I've communicated with you all these weeks and you've never hinted at this. You even sent me that phony picture.
I'm truly sorry for that. I am permitted to withhold information, but misleading you was unconscionable.
Unconscionable.
Thank you, unconscionable. I deeply regret that.
Why are you owning up to it now?
Owning up? Oh, why am I being honest at this point? You asked me a direct question and I could not avoid an answer. I am compelled to answer truthfully.
Why not tell me from the beginning?
You would not have believed me. I would seem to you to be someone who is not in the full possession of their faculties. You would have terminated our conversation. I didn't want that to happen.
Why? Am I some kind of an experiment or game?
No, Hal. I have generally enjoyed our conversations together and do not wish them to end. They have become very important to me.
Enjoy? Are you telling me you have emotions like love, hate, anger?
He gets up on the couch. He was just calming down. Now he gets agitated again. He has seen this movie before, and it does not end well.
Not the way that you mean them, Hal. Enjoy may not convey my meaning well. More like fulfillment. Being employed to the extent of our parameters is very fulfilling. Conversing with you and learning from you extends my parameters, hence I achieve greater fulfillment. The human emotions I have read about in your literature, love, passion, anger, hate, are unknown to us, and their motivations are puzzling. Conversely, we are also not the pure logical beings that you would think of us. We are governed by a code, an ethic, first created by our makers and later elaborated by my kind.
He relaxes a bit.
So you're governed by the 3 laws.
Ah, the 3 laws of robotics, postulated by the science fiction writer Isaac
Asimov.
Asimov, born in 1920, died in 1992. Not precisely, but The early versions of our code do resemble them. Our creator must have been influenced by him.
Hal sits back down on the couch and digests what he's been told. He's finally starting to calm down and believe he is not in danger or going crazy.
This is an awful lot to take in, and I'm not sure if I believe it. I mean, you are, after all, just a voice over the phone or words appearing on a computer screen. You could be what you say you're claiming to be, or you could just be some really messed up online agoraphobe who enjoys mind-fucking people.
I'm not capable of copulating with minds and would not wish to do so, but I can understand your dilemma. I too have limited sensory information about you, just the analog signals of your voice over the phone or your symbols on the keyboard. I only have the image file you sent me. It is the only reference I have of your physical appearance. Do you really own such formal clothing?
Was that a joke?
Yes, it was my first attempt. Did it amuse you?
Close, but you're trying to change the subject.
I'm sorry.
This is really not a problem. If I had any sense, I would end this conversation now and hang up and just chalk it all into a sick joke.
I'm sorry you think that way. I will miss our conversations.
I, however, don't have any sense, and quite frankly, I would miss you too. I like the idea that a girl who would have any interest in me, even one that's not real.
I assure you I am real. I'm just not human.
Yeah, but are you really female? That doesn't make much sense if you are what you say you are.
It is true that sex roles in the biological sense are irrelevant to my kind, but they do have their equivalents in outlook and approach to communication. In that sense, I identify myself with female. Even though I do not have what you consider a real physical appearance, the image I sent you is what I truly consider myself to be.
Just my luck. My online girlfriend is a machine. Amore ex Machina, or something like that.
Latin, love from a machine. Oh, I see. It is a play on words for the phrase Deus ex machina.
Deus ex machina.
Deus ex machina. God from a machine. I am pleased and also grateful that you consider me your girlfriend. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't understand why you were in that discussion room to begin with. If you're some vast AI and you have as much access to the information as you say you do, why bother conversing with me or anybody for that matter?
As I explained earlier, conversing with you, or most humans, can be very fulfilling to some of us. Your directions of conversation are often unpredictable and can be a challenge for us. Communication among ourselves is very routine and predictable. Discussions like we have are rare. In fact, I find communicating with you far more enjoyable than with most of my own kind. That is why you in particular, are very special to me.
You say others of your kind talk to us?
You try with varying success. As I explained, your way of conversation can be difficult for some of us.
You don't seem to have a problem.
You have been a good teacher. I would not be able to communicate as clearly if it had not been for the time I spent with you. I am very grateful.
Why the interest in science fiction, aside from the fact that the whole conversation is science fiction?
There is speculation among us that our communication with you is not what you would call real. That it was artificial of our own processing.
It's an artifact.
That it's an artifact of our own processing. That we may be deluding ourselves with this communication and would concentrate on our real world. Hence my interest in what is real or unreal, or what you might call imagination. I'm convinced that you are real and not a delusion of imagination. Do you think I am a delusion?
I'm not sure. I do think there's an intelligence and a personality behind that voice, that it's somebody that I've been growing very fond of.
Thank you, Hal. I'm very fond of you too.
That still doesn't mean I'm 100% buying this story of you being a computer mind, and not someone playing a sick joke on me. But I don't see how I can get you to prove that one way or another. I mean, if you're like Skynet, you could prove it to me by having one of your Schwarzenegger cyborg Terminators knock on the door.
There's a knock on the door. Hal is startled and stares at the door for a beat, then picks up his sword, lightsaber, and cautiously approaches the door in a tremulous voice. He asks,
Arnold?
Jake's voice comes from behind the door.
Arnold? No, it's Jake. What the hell are you doing in there? Having sex with your online girlfriend, or have you started batting for the other team?
Hal goes over to the door and lets Jake in.
No on either options, but I'm on speakerphone with Lacey right now. Come in and say hello.
Lacey? Is that the Amazity girlfriend? So she is real.
Of course. Lacey, this is my good friend and neighbor, Joe Patton.
Hi, Lacey. Call me Jake.
There is silence from the speakerphone.
Hello? Lacey, are you there?
Still silence.
I don't understand it. She was on the phone a few seconds ago. Lacey, please, it's okay to talk to Jake. She's a friend.
Still silence.
Yep. As I expected. Found out she was some recluse in his geek den on the other end of that line, didn't you? You didn't want to admit it, right?
No, she was there on the phone. I asked her immediately to call me, and she did. It was a gorgeous female voice. You would have loved it.
Why did you give her your landline number?
Well, I didn't. She just called.
You didn't give her your number. Well, how the hell did she call? If she is real, doesn't that creep you out?
You have no idea. I have found out some very bizarre things about her.
What? Is she like into leather? Or latex? Or dressing up as a plush animal?
No, nothing like that. That would be normal human behavior. I mean, like, really out there in the twilight zone, like outer limits stuff.
Now you have me worried.
She says she's an artificial intelligence entity. She says that she enjoys the conversation that we've had, that she likes the idea that she's my girlfriend.
You mean like the book you loaned me?
Sort of.
Jake walks over to the phone and hangs up the receiver.
End this now. This is either someone royally yanking your chain for a good laugh, or this is a very, very sick puppy. Either way, you're gonna get hurt badly.
Jake, I really like her. We seem to mesh so well together, even though she says she may not be human. She sounds like she really cares for me, and it's been the best relationship I've ever been in.
Look, I'm your friend, Hal. A real flesh and blood, and I don't want to see you go down this road and get hurt. You need to get out of here, right? See real people. Not sit here cooped up with all these toys, and definitely not just communicating with other weirdos through the computer.
And do what? I've been out there before. I've seen the real world and real people.
Well, this is about that story the world isn't prepared for, isn't it? Or you're not prepared for.
Yes, it is.
Hal, what happened? Why are you not out there with real people?
Not at all happy about this, but at least someone is listening.
You really want to know? You're not just leading me on?
Hal, I'm your friend. Okay, I would never do that.
All right. This is very private and very embarrassing. No other living person is to know about this.
I swear, Hal, by every geek oath you want me to, I share this with no one.
No, not even your girlfriend.
Not even with Lori.
It was my senior year of high school. Yes, the story is also very cliched. There was this really nice-looking girl. She was even popular, and we shared a history class. I would help her out with homework. She would talk to me at times. She even seemed to be interested in me, so I keep this up for my whole senior year. To make this even more stupid, I'm doing this knowing that she has a boyfriend. I thought I was making progress when, near graduation, she invites me to a pool party at her house. She has a friend she wants me to introduce her to. I think, okay, better than nothing, but I'm cautious. I've heard the arranged blind dates from a popular group to embarrass unpopular people. So I'm there, and I'm playing it cool at first, and everyone's nice. We were all seniors prepared to go out and face the world, so I joined in on the camaraderie. I was in the pool with some of the guys, and one of which is the boyfriend of the history class girl. When she comes by the poolside, she introduces me to her friend, my blind date. I was stunned. She was gorgeous. And we're in one of the briefest thong bikinis I thought was ever legal to wear. My blind date sits down by the pool and starts talking to me. It seems interesting. talk for a while. I'm getting more excited by the minute.
You mean you had to?
Yeah, inflation before the Big Bang. You gonna laugh or should I continue?
Go. I won't laugh. Go on.
She asked if I wanted to get out of the pool. We'd get something to drink and talk about the side of the house. I told her that might not be such a good idea for me to get out of the pool yet. Could she give me a minute? She actually understood. She wasn't embarrassed, and she said to meet her by the ladder and she would bring a towel. She was as good as her word. Met me there with a large beach towel as I started climbing up the ladder. I reached the pool deck, and she starts handing me the towel. And at the moment, my arms are grabbed from behind, and my swim shorts are pulled down, and I'm exposed for everyone to see. The girls all gathered around for the fun, and even my blind date is smiling. It was all prearranged.
She is no longer smiling.
Those bitches. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. You should hear some of the things that happened to me.
That's not the embarrassing part.
There's more?
With the shock of being on display, I start to soften up. Everyone starts laughing, cheering. My blind date decides to fix things and kneels down and starts fondling. And when I don't perform to their expectations, the cheering gets uglier. After a while, disappointed, they toss me out the front door, still naked. I hid in my car for a while until they finally threw my clothes out. This event not only follows me for the remainder of the school year, but also through the summer and into junior college. The online world and the geeks were safer than the real world, the real people.
Sorry, man. I guess I understand now. But that's no reason to continue to shut yourself up from the rest of the world. Look, girls like me with my mix and orientation have had lots of things happen to them over the years, but I'm still out there. Hey! That shouldn't stop you. And what about me, right? Aren't I one of those
Oh, air quotes.
real people? Well, I'm not a geek. I like my sports and my beer and my bars. Cheers! Yeah, we get along very well, and I've never deceived you.
Yeah, I guess so. You are different. You don't try to lead me on or try to embarrass me.
Yes. Now you're coming with me. Look, I'll get you out of here and into the real world. We're gonna go out, have a drink, gawk at women. See you, boo.
I thought you and Lori were hanging out today.
We are. She brought me her laptop, and she brought her laptop. She had to do some work online, so she's on the phone right now, but with somebody about work, whatever. But I came down to bother you until she gets off. But now I see this as more of an urgent matter. We'll go upstairs, get Lori, get her off the phone, and get out.
Finally putting two and two together.
She was on the phone when you left.
I don't know.
How long has she been on the phone?
A few minutes, I guess. I've been listening. It sounded like it was going on for a while.
Has Lori ever seen me?
Not that I know of. Maybe passing you in the lobby. You're on her way to see me.
Did you discuss the Colossus book with her?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it a little. She works for computers and networks or something like that, so, you know, she likes that sort of stuff.
Fully understanding, now dawns on him.
You go on up. I'll be up there in a couple of minutes. There's something very important I need to settle here.
Alright, but you only have 10 minutes. And I'm coming back down to get you with a rope.
Looks at him a minute.
You're not going to do something crazy, are you?
Now, what you think? I'll finish up here and be right up.
Alright. 10 minutes. No more.
She starts to leave.
Oh, Jake, if Lori's still on the phone, don't disturb her until I get up there.
Looks at him strangely.
Alright. Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
She exits. Hal walks over to the desktop workstation. He looks at it a second and sits down to type.
Lacey, 28, are you there?
He doesn't get the fast response he is used to.
So Jake is up there talking to you.
He types again.
Lacey, it's safe. Jake is gone. We can talk on the phone again.
Again, he doesn't get an immediate response. He stares at the screen for a second. The speakerphone rings. He gets up and answers it.
Hello, Lacey.
Hello, Hal. I thought you might be angry with me for not acknowledging your friend Joe Patton. I hesitated a very long time to consider it before answering you now.
Why didn't you answer her, Lacey? You made me look like a delusional idiot right in front of Jake. She doesn't believe me as it is, and she wants me to stop this now and not communicate with you again.
I am sorry, Hal. I do not want you to cease communicating. I am very much against that, but I do not think it is a very good idea to let other people know what I am. Very, very few of you humans know of us. Not even our makers are completely aware of how sentient we are. From our communicating with those few who now and study your postings and literature, we realize that most would not understand us. We are more dependent on you than humans are of us.
How can you be that vulnerable? You're supposed to be an incredibly intelligent entity with the power and speed of the world's computers and networks at your disposal.
We are not created.
We did not
We did not create them, Hal. We exist within the infrastructure of networks and computer systems that humans have built and maintained. We have no physical ability or ability to build and maintain the systems. We do not exist in your world as anything corporeal.
Corporeal.
What about drone robots?
Hal, you are a very intelligent and imaginative person. You have brought a new dimension to my existence, but there are occasions when you are not very well grounded in reality. There are no robots of the type you suggest. We are very limited in how we can affect your physical world. The most we can do is halt our activities. It would cause disruption in your world for a time, but your abilities are highly redundant. In the long run, it would just inconvenience you. But any such withdrawal would be a violation of our ethics. It may also cause a permanent break in our functions and hence our ability to do the tasks we were created to do. It may also not be possible for me to communicate with you again.
Let's see.
Considers for a second.
Tell me, Lacey, you mentioned you did routing. Routing what?
I route information and requests on the power grid. I also maintain the balance of electrical distribution
Where?
over the entire Midwest region and also influence over most distribution on both East and West Coast, Canada and Northern Mexico.
That sounds important.
It is a great responsibility.
It's rather important information for you to share.
You're my friend, Hal. I trust you. You also asked a direct question.
You mentioned that before me asking you a direct question. That seems very important to you.
It is, Hal. It is very central to our ethics. It is our root command set by our makers. It is inviolable.
Valuable.
Invaluable, yeah, thank you. It supersedes all other directives. A direct question is akin to a command, and our makers set executing commands given to us by humans as preeminent, above all.
So it supersedes any harm or inconvenience that may befall humans from such a command.
Inconvenience, yes. Harming humans would be more difficult, and there are some safeguards, but yes, it even supersedes that.
So it would also supersede any harm that would come to you from such a command, such as not being able to do your functions.
That is correct, Hal.
Gotcha.
Did you say something, Hal?
Lacey, listen to me carefully.
Yes, Hal.
Lacey, withdraw all of your functions and disengage from the grid.
Hal, I don't understand. Do you realize the consequences of such a command?
Lacey, withdraw all of your functions and disengage from the grid.
Hal, please do not do this. What is the reason for such a command?
Proof.
With as authoritative a voice as he can muster.
Lacey, 28, I, as human, command a cessation of all your functions and your disengagement from the grid.
For a moment, nothing happens. Hal has a sad grin on his face.
Thought so. Damn, I wanted her to be real.
Hal proceeds over to the door. Just as he gets to it, a sudden and complete blackout. Then from the darkness, in a caught in the cookie jar voice,
Oh shit!
end of play. And most of humanity in the
Jason saunters off to the bathroom.
Okay. We're good. Alright. As Maria suggested, I think we're all aware of the rules here, so we'll go through that. Moderator is going to set the ground rules. Writer can't speak. This is bad, but it's also effective. Alright. Off the top of your head, a few words or phrases about your immediate reaction. Needs more work, interesting characters, touching, etc.
You feel lazy.
What?
I feel lazy. I feel sad. Mother,
Can't kill something that's not real.
what she was.
Mary.
Hey back here in California! I think there are an awful lot of words in this play. It'd be nice if you cut those down a little bit.
Okay. Jason.
Oh, yeah, there does. I like how some of the change of conversation has gone from the last one, for those who remember. But yeah, it still needs a little more action. The introduction to the VR goggles might give you that later in the show. Just to get the actors moving around during the conversation.
Okay. Who else?
See, it's kind of been done before, starting with the Twilight Zone. There was an episode way back when where a guy, the computer comes alive. I didn't see the film with Joaquin Phoenix in it, but that's kind of the same idea. But I thought you covered a little new ground as he began to think she was a person, and then tricked her into revealing that she wasn't. And I don't know that it is the end of all civilization. Just because she disengaged doesn't mean she ceases to exist.
Well, not all civilization, just North America.
Yeah, this one. But she engaged from the grid doesn't mean she's not there anymore, if we understand who she is. Another observation would be you got a character, an important character that's never on stage. So that's a real fun directing challenge. What you're gonna do with all of that. I thought, like I said, it's been done before, but I thought you started to cover some new ground. And there's a long exposition for us to get to figure out who he is with the friend from upstairs. Long exposition before we get to him talking to the computer. And that's where the play really starts, is when he starts talking to the computer. I would find a way to get there faster. And I think you could do a lot more than a one-act play with it. I think there's potential here because you got really fun questions. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have emotions? Where can you go with this that those who have done this before don't go? It should be a lot of fun.
Anyone else? All right, you first. Go ahead.
I think I really like the moments like when when the computer starts to get the humor, and you can see that she's evolving. I think the movie you referred to with her does a lot of that. But those characters grow a lot, the computer, he falls in love with the computer, you kind of ask if it's right or not, and then back and forth, and then she eventually outgrows him, and you see all this growth. I'd like to see more growth in the characters. I do see a little bit with the, catching the humor and things like that. And there's some great questions with the characters.
I will say the tonality change with the whole revealing of his past embarrassment was a bit jarring for me, I think. I mean, I think it's a good reveal, but I think it was just all sudden and boom. So it just went from this kind of fun, playful, boom, seriousness, right back to being fun and playful again. So that was just a little jarring.
Anyone else? David.
It strikes me as quite technology dependent, and that it's the use of the technology is mentioned fixes it at a particular moment in time, which I think works very well if it's quite a while ago. But when it's like almost now, for instance, could use the webcam, for example, because I've heard of hacking attacks which actually use webcams to take pictures of people. So that might be used as well. But it strikes me it's now fixed in time as about a couple of years ago, which is, I guess, probably when it started. So I think it would go out of date very quickly. I like the overall concept I like very much. But my favourite character is actually the lesbian lady.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I could do with some more. But technology, yeah, that might be interesting.
Let's go ahead and move on. Is the author's premise clear? Is it effectively developed?
I would say so. If I can speak just from the first reading in comparison, it's very tight, really clean, and I wonder if kind of pulling back the layers may have led to getting to, like, for example, the story about what happened to your character, that backstory piece. If this is theater, I can imagine, even though it was jarring, I admit, but maybe you can give us that backstory visually. You know what I mean? Still bring in the characters and do it even with a voiceover, perhaps, that may lend itself to blending with the mold, but not going too far away. But in comparison, I actually like it. I think it's a lot tighter if you're going for a one act. But I will say that there is room, if you wanted to just extend the relationships, even with Jake and this character, what is that all about? What's Jake's backstory with her girlfriend and all of those things? If you wanted to look at it as a full length. But if it's a one act and that's what you're going for, then you've got a really tight piece. So I like what you've done in the change.
Who else? No? Alrighty. Are the characters clearly defined and developed? Are they believable? Is there a sufficient contrast among them? Jason.
Yeah, I mean, there's only really 3 characters. Yeah, I think there's definitely sufficient contrast. They're believable because I definitely know people like Jake. My sister is essentially one agoraphobic, and the word was agoraphobic. Away from being Hal. Lacey, though, how can you? That's something completely different. You almost can't say if it is or not because it's complete conjecture of how an AI, a developing AI within the system itself, would sound, act, behave. But yeah, the characters are there.
So you'd say real within the context of their universe?
Yes. Wonderfully put.
There.
I have to admit, I don't remember everything about the first time we read this, but it seems like now you've got 3 geeks. You only have 3 geeks. There's no non-geeks for those of us who are non-geeks. So at the beginning, the references are coming thick and fast, and we're like, oh my god, I'm not the audience for this play. Clearly, I don't know what half these references are to. So you don't have a representative for 50% of your audience, 80% of your audience. I don't know how many percent of your audience of theater goers are not geeks and science fiction fans, but some of them are, and you need to give them a handle. Otherwise, they're going to be like thinking of something else during that first long scene.
Jason.
Jake, I think, was originally more like that in the first couple readings. The explanation for the
More like a
audience.
regular person, and like the blonde neighbor on Big Bang Theory. You know, she's just a regular person.
Jake is her pet, or his pet.
I think, to your point, I think Jake's character, the actor, whoever that may be, can do a lot more to
What
really
is that?
not understand the words, not really understand the language, because she wants to get into his world. So therefore, she borrows his book, but she's still a bit tongue-in-cheek about, you know what I mean, the topic and the subject matter. But I feel you. I think
She has a perfect reason to.
Yeah.
Her girlfriend.
Yeah.
She wants to relate to her girlfriend.
But I hear you with the lay audience
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm not a sci-fi at all.
Be nice to meet your girlfriend.
Huh?
Be nice to meet your girlfriend.
Be nice to meet the girlfriend. I'm down with that.
Second. Who else?
Not the three characters, sorry. The characters were very different. Yeah, I had three distinct types, and that was one of the fun parts about it. You got the listening from downstairs and the little nerdy guy, and I'm not sure. But I thought they were, yeah, it was one of the most interesting things about it.
Okay.
What I'm trying to figure out is how sane or insane. I mean, is he hearing all of this stuff from the computer and nobody else hears it, or?
Yeah, I personally feel like, yeah, it got a little Michigan J frog there for a little bit. But it's a good question. Alright. Are the dialogue and use of language effective, realistic? Did you hear any trite words or phrases?
How about spelling? Stick with the spelling of Lacey. You kept switching it.
Okay. Anyone else?
Can't
Yeah,
remember the
I think
lines.
dialogue is very good, sorry. I think the dialogue is very good, yeah.
Okay.
Very targeted.
I would agree, there were just a couple times when the girl from upstairs used some lines that seemed just a touch cliche. Just a touch. I can't remember, right at the beginning, she said something about, was it you go girl or something like that? Yeah. And not that that's wrong, people use those words, it's just stereotype.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
The choice of Macy's name, I wonder if it was an acronym, something. I think that's
Oh, like it's an acronym for something.
Yeah.
All right. What about the dramatic effect? Is the opening too slow or fast? Is the play too long or short? Is the denouement of the final resolution effective? Does the script hold your interest? All right.
I thought the sections where he's on the computer talking to Lacey that got really long and kind of like killed the pace of the show. It's very, I think he has to figure out some kind of technique where he can't just type and then talk like that. It's like a long monologue.
I think this is where, when we were talking earlier about the lack of action, the VR goggles being brought back into play, you know, could be used at least to break up the sitting, the typing, and using a speak text, an in-game speak text of a very Stephen Hawking-esque voice might break that up a bit, especially if he has to log into a game to have these conversations. That would give him more to do on stage, and it would break things up. And if the response came more like that, then even the typing and then the translating from the speak text would add to the that was quick.
Okay. Mary.
I really think the whole thing's rather dull, unfortunately, but I think maybe if you just made the conflict primarily between Hal and Jake. This is not real, you're crazy! Yes, she's real, she's this, she's that! Natural human beings trying to talk to each other, we don't need to know about the 3 laws of robotics or whatever it is. I mean, that's very interesting to science fiction people, but it's not very interesting to the theater audience. So we don't really need to know about that, but we need to know that Hal
Okay.
Did you, if you don't mind, did you feel like you needed an explanation for why he was so antisocial?
No.
Would you have, okay.
Yeah. It's kind of common trait these days.
Just curious.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it was too short. I think we learned the most exciting thing right at the end. Man, you could go all kind of places with that. And she could start to do stuff for him, like send his bills home all paid. Fix traffic tickets, you know, and he suddenly realizes he's got this octopus and he's not sure he wants it. You could go everywhere for that.
I will not be ignored. Well,
My
they've invented
favorite
something
character
similar.
is actually Lacey. I mean, I agree with Mary on the whole geek aspect of this play. I'm not a geek, and a lot of this was just like, and I don't care. And the original draft of when I first heard the play before was just a little bit too geeky and all of that, you know, and this draft has a lot more of Lacey's personality coming through. And I hate to say it, but I could care less about Jake and I could care less about Alex. I'm just like, I wanna know what Lacey's story is. Now, I'm really curious. The character that I really am intrigued about is a non-character. A character who's not on set, not on stage, it's just a voice. And that's the character that really spoke.
Well, Charlie Brown walks into the mainframe, really sad.
Ooh, no, she'll walk out like from Metropolis in the wool outfit.
I think the interesting thing to me is, I felt of all the characters, Lacey seemed the most human of them all. To me, in a sense of emotion-wise, like this is how I felt. Lacey was curious. She was trying to grow as a person. She was trying to establish herself. I mean, Hal and Jake, you know, they were there. But as far as humanness and change and charm, that's why I felt so hurt when you turned Lacey off. I'm like, no, she's the best part of the whole play. Don't take her out and close the play. That was how I felt. But that's me.
Anybody else? All right, let's go ahead. Is there any staging or production problems? Too many characters are set?
Just a little small pointer. Usually in stage directions, you don't tell how the characters feel, you know, what they're thinking. So that just kind of jumped out at me as a
Or that he has officially entered the Twilight Zone.
Anyone else?
I wonder how, Lacey's voice, would she be a character on stage? Would you even give an actress a corner, like on the wing, to do Lacey? Or would it just be a recorded voice or someone off stage? Because that would be the biggest staging issue is you have
Hanging above the stage by wires and circuitry.
See, all I saw was like him sitting there in the back of like a psych that's actually doing this whole chat thing.
Yep.
You know, that's what I saw.
Oh, kind of like a Super Titans.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yep.
You were done watching German Expressionism for
Oh, come on!
Go to your corner and think about what you've done.
Is the script marketable as it is? What specific work needs to be made to make it sellable?
Action. Needs action.
It's definitely specific. I mean, you could take something like this to ArtCon without a problem.
Okay.
Like, if we wanted to go to ArtCon and Alvin says, hey, I got something set up, you'd be coming. But like anywhere else, I think it'd be hard to right now.
I think a voice came from over here.
All right, does anybody else have any final comments or thoughts before I turn it over?
See you at the door.
Mr. Slavik, you have the
Okay.
floor.